Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to public hearing Tuesday, February the 20th. We have actually two public hearings wrapped into one tonight. The first item of discussion will be concerning 668 Doherty Drive, and the second one will be 530 Carson Avenue. Before I get underway with a statement that is read at the beginning of each public hearing, I'd like to say that Councillor Rudenberg is expressing her regrets as she's busy with a Winter Games event tonight. I do have a public statement that I would like to read into the record. This public hearing is being convened so that Council can hear the views of the public with respect to the subject bylaws. Council members may ask questions of the proponent or city staff. Council may not debate the merits of the proposed bylaws with individual citizens. At this public hearing, any person present who believes that his or her interests are affected by the proposal shall be given an opportunity to be heard. However, it is important that all who speak at this meeting restrict their remarks to matters contained within the bylaws. No one will be or should feel discouraged or prevented from making his or her views known. Those of you who wish to speak concerning the proposed bylaws will be given the opportunity. As chair, I will ask for verbal gallery submissions. If you wish to speak, come up to the presentation desk, push the microphone button, state your full name and address for the record, and then proceed with your submission. I will then ask for a second round of verbal gallery submissions and a third and final call for submissions. After this public hearing has concluded, Council intends to review the Development Services Manager's recommendations publicly at a future Council meeting. During the course of the public hearing, please remain quiet, regardless of whether you are in favor or opposed to any particular application or argument. This allows others whose views may differ from yours to feel free to express themselves in as an impartial forum as possible. So that concludes my introductory remarks. Now I would like to go to Director Hartley to outline the process that led up to tonight's meeting.
Item B, Official Community Plan and Zoning Amendment Bylaws 1957 and 1958. The purpose is to amend the Official Community Plan and Zoning Bylaws regarding C2 West Quesnel Business District Commercial to allow conversion of a commercial building into a 17-unit residential apartment and parking variance from 18 to 3 parking stalls at 668 Doherty Drive. Notice of public hearing was posted February 2nd at the City Hall public posting areas as per Section 466 of the Local Government Act. On February 6th, it was mailed out to properties within 100 meters of the subject property. On February 7th and 14th, it was published in the Quesnel Caribou Observer, and the development notice sign has been installed on the subject property. The proposed bylaws are attached to this agenda. And item 3, city staff reports, Director Turner will speak to.
Okay, now thank you. I will now go to Director Turner for the 3 staff reports.
Thank you. Just to give a summary of the reports, the first report was really the introductory to this this application. As the report states, there a couple of applications had come prior to City Council, so this report going through it provided some background as to the previous history regarding the units, a 15-unit apartment that was originally proposed, and the process that happened there. There was was a delay in the process, and unfortunately the applicant wasn't able to complete the process before the bylaw went defunct, so that was the explanation. And it talked about what the new proposal was and obtained council's direction to proceed with the public process and drafting of the bylaws to allow the public process to occur. The second bylaw is really about giving the first readings following that and setting up the public hearing and so to allow the process to occur. The third report is pretty significant. That is the report that has not actually been heard yet, but it has to be in front of in this public hearing because it's all materials must come before the public hearing. This is the development permit and variance application for the variance to allow the 3 parking stalls, and so that's in the package tonight as well. We'll be hearing it again later tonight, but the submission we wanted council to hear tonight. And again, the reality of it, this is a conversion of an interior part of a building, so to allow 17 units of residential. The variance is significant in that it is waiving the parking requirements to allow only 3 parking stalls for the 17 units. And that's the considerations that are in the reports tonight in the public hearing.
Okay, thank you for that. Now we will go to public written submissions received prior to publishing the agenda. And we have 3 written submissions that appear on this agenda, plus 1 that came in as a late item. Am I correct? Oh, we have 2 plus 1. 2 that came in time for the agenda, and 1 that came in as a late item. Madam Deputy Corporate Administrator, do you want to capsulize those letters?
Sure. We received a email February 13th, 2024 from Royal City Charter, Coach Lines Limited, in opposition to the project. One dated February 14th, 2024 from Jillian Grennan on behalf of Randy Bankhead, Travis Anthony, Rainer Hogan, Georgina Haldane, Nikki Saddleman, Ashley Baxter, and Thailand Grennan in opposition to the project. And today at 12:23, we received a submission from Raymond Mo Wing Guan in opposition to the project. The majority of the rationale for opposition are the reduction of parking spots.
Okay, thank you. Now I will open the floor to verbal gallery submissions. So this will be the first call for anyone in the gallery that wishes to come up and make a verbal submission. When you do come up, as I said in my introductory remarks, please come up and push the red button on the microphone until the microphone glows red, and then you'll know that you are live, because this is being recorded. And simply state your name and your address and ask your question. This is the first call for gallery submissions. Okay, seeing no one come up to the mic, I will now call for a second time for verbal submissions from the gallery. And for a third and final time, this is your final call for verbal submissions from the gallery. Okay, so seeing that there are no verbal submissions from the gallery, I would declare that this portion of the public hearing is concluded, and then we can move on to the second portion. Was my mic not on? after I told all of these people about how to operate a mic? Okay, sorry about that. So now we're going to move on to the second half of our public hearing, and this is regarding zoning amendment bylaw number 1956. And I will go now to the Deputy Corporate Administrator to bring us up to date as to how we got here today.
The purpose of Bylaw 1956 is to amend the zoning bylaw to allow the use of supportive housing to be located at this site, legally described as Lot A, Block 42, Town of Quesnel, Plan EPP 79910, PID 030554942, with a civic address of 530 Carson Avenue, commonly known as the Grace Inn. A land use policy review indicates that this proposal aligns with a number of policies within the official community plan, and therefore does not require an OCP amendment. The notice of public hearing was posted at the city's posting areas on February 2nd, 2024. It was mailed out to properties within 100 meters on February 5th, 2024. It was published in the Quesnel Caribou Observer on February 7th and February 14th, and the development notice sign was installed on the subject property. The proposed bylaw is attached to this agenda. And Director Turner, do you want to speak to the staff report?
Thank you, Deputy Corporate Administrator. The first staff report is just the staff report which introduced the rezoning application to Council. First reading and the public hearing was set for today. On February 6th, a second report that provided BC Housing's engagement reports, the engagement that they took part in prior to the report coming to Council, as well as second reading of the bylaw was placed at that time. And that's the summary of the reports. Thank you.
Thank you. And since we have no written submissions that were received before agenda deadline, and there were no late submissions in writing, I will now go to verbal gallery submissions, and this is the first call for verbal submissions from the gallery. Please come up to the microphone and push the button until the microphone glows red, and state your name and your address, and the floor is yours for a first time. For a second time, if there are any gallery submissions, please come forward. And for a third and final time, are there any verbal submissions from the gallery? Seeing none, I would hereby declare that this public hearing is adjourned. Now, there will be further business on these bylaws. It'll be coming up at the council meeting that will be starting in a few minutes. So if you wish to stay for that, certainly you're welcome to do that. We have a very busy agenda tonight, but we're going to plow through it as quickly as we can. So we'll just take a couple of minutes break here so that we can, we've got a delegation coming in, and so we'll take it from there. So we are adjourned for the public hearing.